Eamonn Holmes and Ruth Langsford were together for 14 solid years of marriage and nearly 30 years as a couple. To the public, they were the untouchable power couple of daytime TV, steady, familiar, and deeply connected. But in 2024, the facade crumbled and the marriage quietly went down the drain. For months, we've heard Ruth's side of the story. Her version defined the headlines, painting a picture of a relationship that simply ran its course. Eamonn, meanwhile, stayed silent until now. At 66, Eamonn Holmes is finally speaking up. What he's revealing changes the tone of the entire breakup, reframing how the public views the aftermath and, more importantly, how Ruth comes across in the wake of their separation. Royal Time of Hollywood dives into the details of the side of the story you haven't heard. A career built on dependability. Long before the scandals, Eamonn Holmes was a boy from Belfast learning the art of broadcasting. From his start in 1979 at Ulster Television to his legendary run on GMTV and Sunrise, Eamonn built a reputation for being the most dependable man in live television. He was the voice that eased the nation into the day, thriving in the high-pressure world of morning news. In 2006, Eamonn joined This Morning, and it was here that his personal and professional lives fully merged. Presenting alongside Ruth Langsford, the pair became a formidable brand. Viewers loved their bickering yet affectionate chemistry. They weren't just a couple, they were a staple of British culture. But behind the scenes, the industry was shifting, and in 2020, they were abruptly dropped from the show. This professional blow marked the beginning of a clear divide that would eventually tear them apart. The hidden toll of chronic pain. While the audience saw strength on screen, Eamonn was fighting a body that was failing him. His health struggles weren't just background noise. They were the pressure point where his marriage began to crack. Starting with a double hip replacement in 2016 and a brutal bout of shingles in 2018, Eamonn's physical decline became devastating by 2021. 3 slipped discs left him reliant on a walking stick and, eventually, a wheelchair. He spoke candidly about how soul-destroying it was to depend on Ruth for basic tasks like putting on socks or moving around the house. While Ruth stood by him publicly, the strain of long-term care began to show. In 2022, after a major spinal surgery, Eamonn suffered a horrific fall down 18 stone stairs at their home, breaking his shoulder and further damaging his legs. By 2024, the optimism had turned to resignation. Ruth admitted that there might have to be an acceptance that he would never be 100% again. The call Ruth wasn't meant to hear. For months, the split was blamed on work commitments and drifting apart. But the real ending was much more explosive. Reports suggest that the marriage collapsed after Ruth made a shocked discovery inside their Surrey home. Eamonn reportedly believed he was alone while chatting on the phone, unaware that Ruth was in another part of the house, listening. What she heard wasn't harmless. It was described as intimate and cozy conversation with another woman. Ruth confronted him immediately. For a woman who had spent years as a devoted carer during his darkest health battles, this felt like an ultimate betrayal, a kick in the teeth. Weeks later, a second discovery on Eamonn's laptop reportedly served as the straw that broke the camel's back. The timeline was swift: a confrontation in April, a laptop discovery in May, and a public announcement of divorce shortly after. While the joint statement was calm and controlled, the reality was a 27-year relationship ending in a moment of overheard intimacy and digital secrets. Eamonn's regret and Ruth's new strength. Since the split, Eamonn has moved on with relationship counselor Katie Alexander, while Ruth has leaned into her independence. In a recent, rare moment of reflection, Eamonn admitted a heavy regret. He wished he had found a better balance between his career and his personal life. He spoke of the humiliating reality of being disabled and the struggle of rebuilding a life, while his mobility remains a daily battle. Ruth, conversely, has found a new sense of self. Through counseling, she has processed the pain of a public divorce and discovered a strength she didn't know she had. She's joked on Loose Women about women living longer when they aren't married and has hinted at a triumphant return to This Morning alongside Rylan Clark. The final chapter. Even amid the divorce proceedings, there have been attempts at grace. This past Christmas, Eamonn reached out to Ruth to wish her happiness, stating plainly that she deserves it. But the parallel tracks of their lives are now undeniable. Eamonn is looking back at what was lost, while Ruth is looking forward to what she can become on her own. The story of Eamonn and Ruth is no longer about a perfect TV partnership. It's a story of how chronic illness, career changes, and a single overheard phone call can dismantle a legacy built over 3 decades. Royal Time of Hollywood wants to know, do you think Eamonn's health struggles were the real reason for the split, or was the overheard call the point of no return? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this deep dive insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you never miss a breaking story from the world of entertainment.